Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching this. Welcome to the opening ceremony of Interota 2020 Hong Kong. I am Kelly Lam from Rotaract Club of New Asia College, CUHK from Hong Kong.
And my name is Samson Chan, and I'm from Rotaract Club of Peninsula South from Hong Kong. We are your Master of Ceremonies tonight.
Interota is a triennial worldwide Rotaract convention organized by Rotaractors and hosted in different cities on a rotational basis. Samson, did you know when did Interota start?
Of course I do. Interota started in South Africa back in 1981. Australia, England, Turkey, Mexico, Brazil, Germany, South Korea, Egypt, Canada, and Taiwan took turns to be the host of the past Interota. This is the 14th Interota and the first ever virtual Interota in history. Hong Kong, being part of RI District 3450, is honored to be the host of the 14th Interota and the first ever virtual Interota in history.
Yes, indeed. We would like to welcome delegates all over the world to join this wonderful and long-awaited event. So Samson, what do we expect tonight?
There are lots of things coming up, Kelly, including open remarks from Interota Organizing Committee Chair and speeches from our honorable guests. After that, we will have a keynote speech delivered by Katharina Unger, who is an entrepreneur and inventor on future food.
Before ringing the bell, let's introduce our guests today. It is our great honor to have the following guests joining this opening ceremony, including RI President Holger Knack, RI Director Sergeant Liu, District Governors, Rotary leaders, Rotarians, Rotaract leaders, Rotaractors, and our guests around the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give them a round of applause.
May I now invite the District Rotaract representative of RI District 3450, Alan Yip, to declare the Interota 2020 Hong Kong officially open. DRL Alan, please.
It gives me great pleasure to declare the Interota 2020 Hong Kong officially open.
Thank you, DRL Allen. Fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors and guests, please be upstanding for the national anthem of Germany, the People's Republic of China, Mongolia, followed by the Rotary anthem.
And now we have the Rotaract song. This Rotaract song is played during the start of each RI District 3450 events, and I'm sure everyone in our district are familiar with this song.
Something to belong in. Join hands now to make it better, into a world of peace forever. Come join the world of Rotaract, hand in hand across the land. Let me hear you say, come join the world of Rotaract.
Thank you, everyone, and please be seated. The Interota Organizing Committee Chair, Lord Chi-Jun, would like to say a few words to welcome everyone. Chair Lord Chi, please.
大家好. Hello, everyone, and greetings from Hong Kong. I am Lord Chi, the Organizing Committee Chair of Interota 2020 Hong Kong. It is my pleasure to welcome you all today for the upcoming exciting and amazing 5-day of Interota. I would like to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to appreciate all eminent speakers and guests over the road from different walks of life who have come here to share your knowledge and vast experience with us and the youth community. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to all sponsors, especially the Home Affairs Bureau, Youth Development Commission of the Hong Kong Government, Charter President Patrick Poon of Rotary Club of Hong Kong Harbour, past District Governor Peter Wong, Rotary Club of Soho, Hong Kong, Rotary Club of Victoria, as well as other generous sponsors. Also, thanks to our partners, Hong Kong Tourism Board, Regal Hong Kong, as well as our steering committee led by immediate past District Governor Wilson Zhang, and of course, our District Governor Eric Check. Without the support and guidance from our Rotary leaders, this Interota couldn't be brought onto the stage. The theme of this International Rotaract Convention is Leverage Youth Power, Level Up the World. We believe that by gathering youth power from all around the world, together we can achieve more and make an impact on the world through services and international explorations. And like the lyrics of the Rotaract song, together we, the Rotaractors and Rotarians, can make the world a better place. This is the 14th and the first ever Interota in the history of Rotaract, which is conducted on a digital platform in line with the social distancing norms and travel restrictions due to COVID-19 pandemic. It is unfortunate that all of us are not able to see each other face to face and visit our lovely Hong Kong physically in this special occasion. However, with the help of advanced technology and internet nowadays, we hope we can bring you all an authentic, truly made in Hong Kong hospitality and experience to you all virtually. Virtual meeting tools allow us to connect every one of you at any time and anywhere. This year, we have received more than 1,800 applications from over 90 countries or regions. Apart from the support from the Rotary family, we also received some applications from the general public. This is a good chance for us to promote the spirit of Rotary to everyone. In the upcoming programs, there are opportunities for everyone to collaborate, exchange ideas, and understand the cultural difference across the globe. We look forward to your active participation, and please don't miss this valuable opportunity to make friends. Last but not least, we can't make this program happen without my strong team. We face a lot of ups and downs during the preparation journey. I would like to use this opportunity to thank you, my team. We started everything from scratch to now. It is truly a rewarding journey for all of us. Despite some parts of the world still struggling with COVID-19 pandemic, we hope our program can bring you some cheer and fun during this hard time. We all gather here and support each other during this difficult time. Please stay safe and enjoy the show.
Thank you, Chair Lok Chi, for the speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Rotary International President Holger Knopf to say a few words. Our President, Holger, please.
Thank you for inviting me to participate in this event. I know that many Rotaractors from around the world have been looking forward to Interota for some time, and many of us were looking forward to being in Hong Kong. All of us are eager to see each other in person again, and we will soon enough. But for now, we need to make the most of the time we have together and to never forget to have fun. Like the wizard Gandalf says in Lord of the Rings, we cannot choose the time we live in. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. Just like Gandalf could not complete the quest of the ring himself, do not look to me or to any of the gray-haired people in Rotary for leadership. Look for yourselves. Be ready to step in and guide us along a path we could not anticipate. These times may seem difficult, but in fact, they are perfect for Rotaractors and everyone in your generation. For too long, people of my generation have tried to tell you how to succeed in our world. And we are happy to use you if you have unpleasant work to do, such as setting up and using some technology we don't understand, but we have taken for granted your unique skills, abilities, and energy. Of course, your generation is impatient, and that is a wonderful virtue. You believe in getting things done right away. And when people of my generations wonder how we can respond to challenges about diversity, inclusion, closed borders, or social injustice, Rotaractors are ready to take action. I find this inspiring. We have now entered your world, but there are some who think we come back to the clock and resume our old ways. But that's impossible. Change is inevitable. We should embrace it. This isn't just about online meetings. Rotary needs to enter your world, and it is now up to you to tell us what new Rotary Club models will look like. And it is up to you to tell us what kind of Rotary experience you want to have. And it's up to you to show us what a truly borderless, diverse Rotary of the digital age will look like and how it will thrive. Together, we have accomplished so much, but I hope that you will not be satisfied with all the progress. Keep thinking of ways that Rotaract can take on an even bigger role in the family of Rotary. We are eager for your insights and your ideas for how we should adapt after the pandemic. I need you to help Rotary open opportunities for ourselves and the people we serve. Thank you for joining me on the quest. Thank you.
Thank you, RI President Unger, for your words of wisdom.
Let's welcome RI Director Sergeant Liu to say a few words. RI Director Sergeant, please.
My fellow Rotarians and Rotaracts, honorable guests and the Rotary dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. As we look ahead toward Rotary's new strategic plan, one thing is very clear. To build the Rotary of the future, we need to be working much harder to develop Rotary leaders for the future. That means engaging a younger generation in Rotary service and doing more to welcome and encourage service-minded young professionals into the Rotary family. 50 years ago, Rotary launched a program designed to do just that, Rotaract. In many ways, Rotaract has been astonishingly successful. Today, we have 250,000 Rotaractors serving in about 10,000 clubs. Yet, as successful as Rotaract has been in its service and its growth, Rotary has largely failed to support Rotaract in becoming the incubator for Rotarians that we hope it would be. Only 27% of Rotary clubs sponsor a Rotaract club, and only a tiny percentage of the talented and motivated people who serve in Rotaract go on to serve in Rotary. It's our goal to turn all of that around, both by doubling the number of Rotary clubs sponsoring Rotaract clubs and making sure that every Rotary club is fully embraced by Rotary. We want to approach that work in a strategic way by building Rotaract clubs that are community-based, with young people who are going to stay in the same area where Rotary clubs are already waiting to welcome them. The most important part of sponsoring a Rotary club is keeping the connection between Rotaract and Rotary strong, holding joint meetings, run joint projects, and making Rotaracts welcome at your Rotary meetings. Treat Rotaracts as young colleagues and be open to the inspiration, knowledge, and new ideas they can bring to your service. Know the Rotaracts in your Rotaract clubs. Keep track of which of them might be ready to join Rotary, and when they are ready, invite them. Or be open to chartering a new Rotary club that might better suit their needs and grow a more service, more flexible, and stronger Rotary. We have put together all kinds of resources to help you launch and support Rotaract in your community. Whether you are with Rotarians, Rotaracts, or in your community, show your Rotary pride. We have a great organization, and we can all Rotary opens opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, our Director Surgeon, for your priceless advice.
Let's welcome the District Governor of RI District 3450, Eric Check, to say a few words. DG Eric, please.
It's my privilege to welcome all of you to join the Interota 2020, organized by our Rotaract of District 3450. Thank you all for joining this first ever virtual Interota. I'm sure all of you will enjoy the wonderful programs and meet many good friends here. Interota is a special occasion for us, where ideas are so that now may seem very small and unimportant, but may develop into something great with potential. It is also an occasion to share different cultural understandings. Rotary International District 3450 comprises of Hong Kong, Macau, Mongolia, and Guangdong Province. There are 107 Rotary clubs, 78 Rotaract clubs, and 94 Interota clubs. COVID pandemic has affected the world for 1.5 years. People are suffering from disease, lost their life, their work, and become homeless. Rotarian and Rotaractors around the world are all working together to help the people fighting against COVID. We provide the necessities such as face masks, food, computer tablets, as well as temporary shelters, and assist in promoting vaccination, etc. Because of COVID, we have worked harder and went above and beyond in helping the need. We invited our friends, our neighbors, and our colleagues to join us. This is the best occasion for people to unite, take action to create lasting impact. Together, we promote peace, prevent disease, develop the economy, support the environment, improve literacy, and provide clean water. We believe in our core values: diversity, integrity, fellowship, and leadership. We think, we say, and we do the four-way test. We welcome people from all backgrounds. We serve above self. Thanks to the OC Chair, Lochi, Steering Committee Chair, IPDG Wilson, and all OC members. Finally, we've made it possible here, despite the difficulties and challenges. Thanks also to our sponsors, speakers, participants. Wish all of you an enjoyable convention. Thank you.
Thank you, DG Eric, for your enlightening speech.
Last but not least, let's welcome Interota Steering Committee Chair, IPDG Wilson Jan, to say a few words. IPDG Wilson, please.
It is my great honor to be here to attend the opening of Interota 2020. The event is indeed the big joint effort and teamwork of Rotaractors and Rotarians during the past 4 years. Looking back in 2017, a group of Rotaractors and Rotarians joined the last Interota in Taiwan and successfully beat the rights of Interota 2020 under District 3450. Once we received the good news, we set up the organizing and the steering committee to plan for this important international event. When the preparation started in 2017, I was DGN, and I remembered I worked closely with PDG Eric Chin, HW Fong, and YC Ho to plan for every details of the event, such as solid funding, promotions, registration, and so on. Rotaractors and Rotarians all contribute a lot to this event. All PDGs from District 3450 also fully support during these 4 years. In addition, youth chairs, Rotary representative, and DG Eric also joined the steering committee and give valuable advice. My heartfelt thanks to all of them. Without any one of them, we cannot make Interota 2020 happen today. The support was not just within Rotary family, we also got recognition from outside. Around 1.2 million Hong Kong dollar was granted from Hong Kong government to this international youth event. Besides, various sources of private entity also donate funding. To name a few, Mr. Patrick Poon made a significant donation of 500,000 Hong Kong dollar to the event. Other donors, including PDG Peter Wong and the district governors from 2017 to 2020. And that make a contribution to make the event happen. The road to organize Interota 2020 was not an easy project. We have to stay flexible, and agile to overcome various pandemic challenges. The format of Interota has been changing to adapt the health and safety measures and finally make the event opening happen today. Now, we have transformed the Interota from physical to virtual. There are around 1,400 participants from over 74 countries that make a remarkable records of Interota history. Last but not the least, I must say thanks, and we are lucky to have a capable chair, Lok Chi, who helps to coordinate. Again, without her, we cannot make Interota 2020 happen today. I must say I'm so happy to witness this memorable event to kick off. I believe Interota 2020 will be a case study in Rotary history to demonstrate the full strength of Rotary family. I wish every success of the event and hope all the participants will enjoy the fruits of this wonderful experience tonight. Last but not the least, I must say thanks, and we were lucky to have a capable chair, Lok Chi, who helps to coordinate. Again, without her, we cannot make Interota 2020 happen today. I'm so happy to witness this memorable event to kick off. I believe Interota 2020 will be a case study in Rotary history to demonstrate the through strength of Rotary family. I wish every success of the event and hope all the participants will enjoy the fruits of this wonderful experience tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, IPDG Wilson, for a motivational speech.
So now maybe it's a good time for photo taking. So may I please invite every one of you to please turn on your camera and be ready for a big group photo. We will now play a 1-minute video, and there is a countdown in the last 50 seconds. After the countdown, our photographer will do some photo shootings. So be ready, and we want to see your face now.
So be ready and turn your camera on now. And keep us smiling faces. Keep smiling, everyone. It takes some time, but it's worth it.
I'm sure there must be a lot of people in the photo, so why it takes a bit while to do the
Yes.
photo shooting.
And thank you everyone for smiling faces.
So, Kelly, do you know there are over 1,800 participants from 91 countries and regions registered for this Interota, and they are watching out of our live session from all over the world.
Wow, that's exciting. I'm sure we're going to have an extraordinary experience during this virtual Interota. I know the Interota program is going to happen around the clock, and you can join anytime, anywhere.
So let me just give you an overview of our 5-day program. The program schedule is now on the screen. So for today, June 5th, on the schedule, we already have the House of Friendship. Representatives from different RI districts present their culture, and we are now doing the opening ceremony.
On day 2, we're going to have Rotary Open Opportunities Forum in the morning, cultural workshop in the afternoon, and for those who have pre-registered, remember to attend the Interota Academy, What the World Should Be, in the evening.
On day 3 evening, the cultural night filled with cultural performance from different countries and regions has been arranged for you to sit back and relax. So don't miss it.
On day 4 and 5, we have the highlighted program, Peace 2020 Surfers Marathon, together with Hong Kong virtual tour and clubhouse sessions. Our volunteers will conduct a non-stop surfers tour for 20 minutes. Also, there will be local tours to guide you to explore a different side of Hong Kong. If you plan to visit Hong Kong after the pandemic, join a virtual tour. And after that, on day 5 evening, we will have the closing ceremony and Interota 2023 meeting.
The program looks really fruitful and exciting. I look very much forward to them.
And back to our opening ceremony, we're now honored to have Katharina Unger, an inspirational entrepreneur who will share her insight into future food trends, food waste reduction, and food security.
Katharina has founded Livin Studio and Livin Farms, companies leading in the field of edible inserts and novel food innovation. So without further ado, let's welcome Katharina. Katharina, please.
Hello, hi, I'm Katharina. Nice to meet all of you. Very many thanks to invite me to this event. I'm very excited to be here.
Hi, Katharina. So yeah, thanks very much for joining our Interota, and thank you very much for being the keynote speaker of our Interota event. So maybe we can. I understand today you are going to do some presentation to share your insights into the food, the future food trend, right? I think we are going to have some. You're going to share the screen. So maybe we are just waiting. So maybe once the screen are being shared, then we can you can start the presentation.
Okay, right. I'll get started right away. So again, many thanks for having me here today. I'm calling in from Vienna, actually. I'm based both in Vienna and pre-pandemic. I was also based in Hong Kong. I have my businesses both in Hong Kong and in Vienna. And I'm going to share today with you my entrepreneurial journey, our technology, and what Livin Farms is doing as a company. So let me just quickly go to full presentation mode here. All right, so our motto is feeding the world while saving the planet. We build technology to upcycle waste into insect proteins. And I'm going to jump into a few challenges first of all. One second, I just get the notification that my screen sharing was interrupted. I'm going to share it again. Yes, I think now it works. Okay. So I'm going to jump into a few challenges. First of all, probably the biggest one of all is that we're facing a huge. So do you hear me now? Good. So we are having a global rising protein demand, while this is already the second biggest factor for climate change. So we really in the urgent need to do something about it as the population worldwide grows, as we consume more and more proteins in the world. We're putting more and more pressure on our resources and on our planet. And that's why we as a company, and I myself as an entrepreneur, am focusing on solving this challenge while having a positive impact on the planet. The second big challenge that we have is that we have an amazing amount of food waste all around the globe. And if food waste were a country, it would be the third largest CO2 emitting country in the world. So it is not only about wasting resources, it is also about creating a huge carbon emitting problem here. The way we currently solve some of the protein challenge is that we fill it with unsustainable resources such as fish meal. Fish meal is a very commonly traded protein ingredient for a lot of animal feeds. And the problem with it is that every ton of fish meal requires 5 tons of ocean fish. And largely, really, it is derived from ocean fish. And as you all are aware of, the problem that we are depleting oceans already. So this is a really pressing issue. So what do we do as a company? Livin Farms has 2 arms. One is based out of Hong Kong, one is based out of Vienna, as I just mentioned. In Hong Kong, we focus on sustainability education. So we are building small scale technology to go into schools to create awareness about upcycling food waste and creating new alternative protein sources, such as through insects. In Austria, in Vienna, we're focusing on industrial technologies. So we built what we have built before in Hong Kong in a very small scale. We're building it here in a very large scale, in an industrial size, to convert really massive, large amounts of food waste into industrial food waste, into proteins, fats, and fertilizers. So that goes mainly into the animal feed sector, the pet food sector, and the agricultural markets. And there is a growing market also for human food, which I think is quite exciting. However, it's quite small. So the first step is definitely animal protein. So I'm going to tell you a bit more about those 2 branches of our business quite soon. But first of all, let me talk a little bit about my own entrepreneurial journey, so you understand the motivation behind it. That's myself at the age of around 4 or 5, I think. And you see me in front of our cows. I grew up in the Austrian countryside, close to the border of Hungary. And my parents were actually newly acquired farmers. So they had been farmers throughout generations. However, then they had their day jobs, and they were passionate about food production. So that's me in front of our first herd, and I was very, very proud. And I grew up with a deep connection to food and to how we're growing it. However, later on, I settled in Hong Kong. I was working as an industrial designer, so mainly in product development, developing products ranging from anywhere in consumer electronics over to medical goods, furniture, bicycles, and automotive. And when I was in Hong Kong, I realized how much of an urgent need it is to create more sustainable resources. I thought, how is it possible in such a dense place to have such an amazing food supply? I worked on the dried seafood market. Our office was around there. So I walked up and down there every single day, and I looked at all these incredible things that come out of the ocean. And I'm an avid diver as well. I dive around I used to dive around Hong Kong, and I know that there's not as many fish in the sea around Hong Kong. So I knew it wasn't sourced from local waters. So that's really when my journey started into looking more closely into how our food is actually being produced, and how sustainable or unsustainable it actually is. And what I found out was quite devastating for me at the time. We are using about 1/3 of our croplands worldwide already just to produce animal feed, and 80% of all manufactured antibiotics go into the production of meat and animal products. So that's an incredible amount of resources that we spend right there on producing animals. And at the same time, we're creating a lot of waste with it. Here you see a pig farm, an industrial sized pig farm. And right next to it, you see a huge lake with blood and residues that come out of this production. So because we have large centralized systems of animal production, we are actually creating a lot of problems. So my mission became to create a circular, healthy food system under the motto of Einstein, who said, we cannot solve problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. So I was thinking, let's stop, let's look, let's step one step back, let's take one step back and really think about what are the resources that we can use in this world to make the food system better and more efficient. And that's how I came across insects. When looking into a variety of alternatives to traditional conventional meat production, I came across insects as an ancient source of proteins, but also as key enabler in our ecosystems worldwide. If we hadn't have insects, we wouldn't have pollinated plants. Our global planet would really not work the way it does. And these insects pictured here, they all fulfill their own roles, such as the silkworm that gives us silk, and the honeybee that pollinates our plants and gives us honey. But also there's about 2,000 edible insects in the world that could be used to feed animals and people. And that really intrigued me. One sustainable fact about insects is you see a few insect dishes here made with mealworms, there's soup, and there's a bowl of rice that adds a protein ingredient to the fiber, makes it more digestible. And if you think of a meat dish, a minced meat dish, for example, and you replace it with insect proteins in there, then you can save an incredible amount of resources. So with one dish, you save 4,500 bottles of water, or 4.5 hectares of land. That's about more than 1,000 Hong Kong apartments. As we all know, Hong Kong apartments are rather small, but I still think that's a very, very large amount. And this is, of course, compared to beef, one of the most unsustainable and most resource depleting sources of animal protein at the end of the day. Most importantly, however, insects can feed on food waste. So they can really eat stuff that cannot go into any other types of production anymore unless biogas digesting or composting. So if we compare it to soy even, because insects can eat food waste, they are 7,000 times more efficient per unit space than soy. They save 99% of CO2 as compared to soy, and they use 150 times less water per unit protein than soy. So you see that we as a company, and I myself as a person, I'm really pro vegetables. I think we should eat more plant-based protein. However, where insects fit into the ecosystem of being waste reducers, that's really a good way to use them. And in this case, we can really even benefit from them as compared to plant-based protein. So we save space, we save resources, water, and CO2 emissions. So they can close this protein gap that we're facing while effectively saving the planet. And the markets, as I just mentioned already, are currently the pet food market, the animal feed market, but growingly also the human food market. And not to neglect, of course, there's also the agricultural markets where we are in dire need of biological and organic fertilizers that also come out of insect production. They actually make up a huge volume of insect production, and they can be used as very beneficial fertilizers for the soil and soil enhancers. Where did we start? The beginning of our journey as a company was in home growing insect farming devices. You see 3 of them here of our early days. As mentioned, Einstein's motto of saving resources and not being able to solve problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. The first approach was really to go small scale and empower people in their own homes to convert their organic wastes into protein to eat this protein. That was quite provocative, I think, but it really kicked off our journey pretty well as a company. So this was the first device. It was a device to grow black soldier fly larvae, a particular type of fly larva that is not harmful for humans, and cannot bite or sting, and it does not eat as a fly. So it's a very good, nice fly. And this is the first one to grow it in a closed loop in your homes. It then developed into the second one, the second version, and then eventually we built a mealworm farm for the home. And with those devices, you could really experience the closed loop, so to say, firsthand, harvest natural fertilizer in your home for your plant and harvest the proteins. It took us all around the world. It started with these first prototypes and going through the process of farming insects myself. It took us to Africa, where we launched pilot scale projects about insect farming in Tanzania and Uganda, then to Malaysia, where you see these prototypes in action there. And then eventually we launched the first commercial product, the Hive Home, we called it, that you can see here at a customer's home in the UK. So I found it a very funny picture that he sent us there. And what we're doing now is sustainability education. So we scaled down our first product, made it much more approachable, much more affordable as well, to particularly benefit the educational sector. And that's actually what we do today in Hong Kong. We do not only distribute our products, but also give workshops and hold events with both corporates, but especially schools. And this really should give the kind of the baseline of the pyramid to communicate the topic of waste conversion and protein production in the communities. In Vienna, as I mentioned, we are building industrial technologies. So we focus here on really the insect rearing technology and waste reduction. I'm first going to show you a little bit more about what we do in the educational side. So it's really about STEM learning, STEM plus sustainability learning. You can see the device here. It's a mealworm farm that grows the whole cycle of the insects, all the life stages of the insects in one device. It also has an electronic component, so it's heated, and it really gives the insects the ideal environment to grow and thrive in. So you see here, they start out as beetles. That's the adult insects. They then lay their eggs. The baby larvae hatch, and then they go into this bottom part where they grow and where you can feed them on organic scraps that you have in your kitchen, for example. And here you see a few of our users using it. And we do this, as mentioned, in workshops where we close the loop also in schools, for example, where we teach how you can use those devices and the process of insect farming for really not only diverting your organic waste, but also using the fertilizer then to grow microgreens, for example, to grow plants, to grow vegetables, and harvest all of these products, not only the proteins from the insects, but also the plant products, to really create wholesome meals for the community. What we do on the industrial scale is plug and play insect factories. We empower industry customers to produce insect protein. And here you see a little bit of a sneak peek into one core part of our facility. It's a robotic handling system. So as in many other sectors, we are mainly focusing on automation and how to make this process of insect farming as scalable really as possible, so we can really have the biggest possible impact on the industries. So here you see visualization of it. It's built up in modules. It's a modular construction system for fully automated insect factories, and it consists of of a bunch of modules. First of all, of a feed substrate processing module. This module is always adapted depending on the type of food waste that goes in there. So if I can, for example, mention a few, in Europe, we are limited to use food waste that is allowed as animal feed, because insects are considered farm animals, basically. So we are dealing with, for example, bakery waste. So old bread, buns, rolls that come out of large bakeries or large retail shops. Then there's byproducts from industries. So for example, potato processing plants, potato fry factories, for example, they have tons, thousands of tons of potato byproducts every year that currently go into biogas digesters. Or they are they sometimes can be sold as human or as animal feed. However, the margins are very low. So there is a big pain point of the industry to get rid of this waste in a very meaningful way. So that substrate processing module has to be adapted, of course, to the type of substrates that go into the process. And then the second part, the largest part, is the rearing. The rearing, you can imagine like big buckets, so to say, where the insects live. They are larvae, so they are worm-like, and they need this substrate to be prepared and be filled into these buckets so that they can roam around and eat it there and convert it into proteins. And then there's a robotic handling station that you just seen on that you have just seen on the previous slide. This one manipulates these trays in an automated fashion. So it harvests these trays, it empties those buckets of the larva, and it can also put new seedlings, baby larvae, into those buckets so that they can be reared again and can be grown again. And the end product processing module consists of machinery that takes in those larvae. It has a drying process, a defattening process, grinding processes, and so on. So the end products that come out of those factories are defatted powders, protein powders, fats or oils, and fertilizers, pelletized fertilizers. I can show you on the next screen how that roughly works as a business model, because of course that is a key, critical key thing here to really make this work on a large scale. So our customers, they get the plug and play factories, and those factories are only there for rearing the insects on the substrates that those industries have. So there is no reproduction facility there. That means that there's no adult animals there. There's no flies there. The flies we rear ourselves, and we produce these baby larvae that we regularly ship to the customers so that they can fill their factories with the baby larvae, rear them, feed them on their substrates. The whole process is done within 1 week only. So really within 1 week, you can't go from a substrate that is effectively waste, that you sometimes have to pay to get rid of it, or that you make very, very tiny margins on, to a protein product. And this service component, shipping the baby larva, also monitoring component, that we call farming as a service. And it's really in the insect industry, a big step, I think, towards making this industry work on a larger scale. So we do see a similar effect as we see in other animal industries, where there is a segregation of different operational things that are being done in the insect farming process. And that just makes it more efficient, because as you might be able to imagine, growing the flies and harvesting the eggs, it's a much more manual process, is a process that requires much more research and development than harvesting the proteins and really just growing and feeding the larva. So the customer cases behind it is that food and feed industries, of course, have to acquire these technologies, can only acquire these technologies if it turns their losses or their minimal revenues into a profitable business, right? Of course, it has to also work on a financial level. So here is a case, for example, where we're looking at a pilot scale facility. So we're looking at about 8,000 tons of waste per year that currently one particular type of partner of ours is losing 300,000 euro. So that's, I think, more than 3 million Hong Kong dollars in money every year, because they have to actually dispose this and they have to pump it into a truck and get rid of it in biogas digesting. And with our technology, with plug and play rearing facilities, we can achieve to produce valuable, high value output products. As I mentioned, the protein powder, the lipids, and a fertilizer, and that results in a large revenue as compared to the loss that they made before. At the same time, there is actually a 70% emission cut as compared to composting. So the carbon is really absorbed by by the insects. It is taken and it's made into valuable products. So therefore, we can also actually achieve a very good CO2 balance as compared to taking these products and putting them into a composting process, for example. We see that it is a very beneficial time right now to grow in the insect industry. We've had a lot of milestones, and this really refers to the European Union, because that's where we kick off our industrial factories here. There are, in the European Union, we have a novel food regulation because of the BSE, the mad cow disease scandal a few years back. Very thorough measures were introduced to prevent something like this happening again. And therefore, insects were only very strictly used in pet food since 2014. Around that time, there were first products were placed on the market in the pet food sector. Why pets? Pets are typically not being eaten here. So therefore, it is less of a risk to feed pets with a kind of a novel or a new ingredient than it is of feeding livestock that goes into the human food chain again. So there can be a domino effect there that the European Union, of course, wanted to avoid. In 2017, there was the first kind of jump in the market, since at that point, processed proteins derived from insects are called PAP here, PAP. They were approved for farmed fish, and this year we're going to see a major new bump in the industry, because poultry and pigs will be able to eat insects as well starting this year. So the large agricultural banks in Europe already forecast that there's going to be a large jump in the market scheme, which is quite exciting. So for us as a company, and for me as an individual entrepreneur leading this business, I think the most exciting thing is that we can not only generate more revenues for our customers and make their business model better from a financial standpoint, but we can really secure the future of food together here. We can save proteins from being fished out of the ocean, avoiding to further deplete fish ocean stock. And this is really the big vision behind the business. And of course, I invite you all to be part of this Can you do this? We have a free webinar series. It's called Misplaced, where we invite speakers from all around the world, I believe from more than 10 different countries, to talk about how they are fixing the food system. Many of them are entrepreneurs themselves and have launched sustainable businesses. So if you're interested to hear more about the various ways really of how we can contribute to a healthier food system, then I would recommend you to go on this link and check out our webinar series there. As mentioned, it's not only about insects, it's about sustainable fashion, it's about the oceans, it's about all the tiny parts that that can help make our living on this planet more sustainable. And of course, you're always welcome to reach out to us if you're interested, for example, about the industrial business. You can also, of course, get our products and so on, and reach out at contact@livinfarms.com or thehiveexplorer.com if you're interested in the educational side of things. That's it from my end. Again, thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to hearing your questions now.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. And for audience, if you have any inquiries or questions, just feel free to leave your question in the chat box.
So for now, we already received quite a few of questions. So maybe in this Q&A session, we'll just pick up quite of them, just a few of them for Katharina to answer. So number one of the questions from the floor is, so this the question is, so some countries currently do not have a culture in eating insects. So how would you persuade them to include insects into their daily diet?
That's a very good question. So yeah, there are many countries in the world that have some sort of a history of eating insects, but maybe as I mentioned in the presentation, in the first instance, it's not necessarily all about eating insects. It's not always about looking the worm into its eyes before chomping it, but it's mainly about really fixing the food system from a systemic perspective. So it's about feeding animals. If we can feed animals more sustainably, we effectively eat more sustainably as well. So in the first place, it's really about integrating insects as a protein in animal feed, and the human food market is something that has already kicked off, that is growing. We see especially a growth in the market in the Western markets, in the sports nutrition market. So people who really care a lot about eating healthy, eating clean protein, they are very interested. They can benefit a lot from this protein source. And then, of course, using insect proteins as a powder in its invisible form will help grow this market further.
Thank you. So I guess the first step will be like animal feeding, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
So there's another question. So this question is, so what will be your next plan on reducing food waste or your business? Yeah.
Sure. So we are working already with customers here in Europe to reducing their industrial food waste. Industrial food waste is something that is easier to control. So because it is there in a certain quantity all year round, it's predictable. It's predictable not only in its quantity but also in its quality. So we can continuously feed insects in a larger scale industrial production. That's the first step. I think though that the large the large opportunity really lies in organic waste, which is a bit harder from an industrial perspective to use because it comes in a variety of shapes. So just taking an example, if you're talking about retail food waste, so vegetables and fruits that come out of supermarkets, sometimes you might have a season where there's a lot of cucumber, so it's a lot of water content, and then in the other season you have a lot of potatoes, for example, and it's a lot of starch. So there's going to be a lot of peaks in different types of nutrients. And that's something that needs to be fixed from a technical perspective, and it's more challenging. But I really think that these are the largest quantities, and I believe there's more than 50. Like there's a lot. I'm not going to name a number now because I'm going to be pinned down on it. But there's the largest amount of food waste is organic waste, and tackling this one will definitely is in our future with Livin Farms with our company.
Thank you. So reducing industrial food waste will be the first step of it.
Correct.
Wow. So there's a third question. So asking, how did you start this business? And where did you meet the people that with the same objectives as you?
Yeah, it is very challenging to start a business from scratch. I started out in 2015. I founded the company in 2015. My first step was I'm an industrial designer, come from product development. So I did what I could do best. I developed a product, I put it out there, I communicated it to the world, and I can really advise any young entrepreneur to do a similar thing. Just of course, we all have to be protective of our ideas at some point and not give away everything on a silver plate. However, it's usually very meaningful to communicate your ideas to the world, see what people think about it, and go out there and ask for help. Ask for help how you could pull this idea off. That really helped me along the way. And being very open, public, and communicating my ideas also helped me find the people along the way that could help me realize it.
Thank you, and wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
So there's also another question asking, what is the most difficult part when you start this business?
Yeah, there are so many difficult parts in starting businesses. However, I would say there's in the very beginning of the business, there's two major hurdles. One is getting financing secured, getting someone to trust so much in you as a person and your idea to give you the needed amounts of money to pull this off and hire the right people. And then it's also about finding the right people. Of course, especially when you have not so much funding in the first place to get people hired who can work for maybe below market rate. But even when you have the money in place, it remains a challenge to keep a team of very diverse people motivated and engaged and believing in your vision and pulling forces together is something that we're working on every single day. We have 14 different nationalities in our company, so we're very diverse. We're from all parts of the world, and our team ranges from biologists to automation engineers to farmers, designers, and marketing people. So it's very, very diverse, and keeping everyone on the same level is really fun. It's really inspiring. But it's a lot of work.
I see. So I guess the financial burden and the trust between people and colleagues, right, would be
Absolutely.
kind of some kind of obstacle when people are starting a business.
Yeah. So everyone knows that food scarcity is now a key issue, become a key issue. So how did government see this point? Did the government support your idea or to do something good for the environment?
Yes. So I mean, I would say here in Europe we have been very blessed with governments being very open to supporting sustainable businesses, to supporting also the idea of funding an insect-based business. We just recently actually received a large grant from the European Union. And they have the big goal, that by 2030 we will cut down half of the food waste that we have in Europe. So there's a big agenda and a big push for sustainability, and that really also benefits the insect sector, which we're very happy about.
Yes, having a supportive government is very important.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Absolutely.
Maybe we just pick a few more questions. Maybe so. This question is from District 3310. So the question is, will increased consumption in insects have negative impact on the insect population or the biodiversity?
No, actually, that's also a very, very interesting question. It will actually benefit insects out there in the ecosystem, and it will push and increase biodiversity. Why? Because if we can introduce insect production as an industrial scale solution that works on a systemic level, we will be able to cut down on waste. We will be able to free up lands and give back some of these farmlands or croplands that we now really use for growing just crops and grains for feeding animals. If we can use some of that to plant, green fields, we will also be able to have more pollinators out there in nature, to have more bees, to have more beneficial insects, and to actually create a healthier ecosystem.
Great to know that, yes.
Please. So maybe we can just pick one last question. So So this question is, okay. This question is about the education part. So with the experience you work with school, how did the students respond about this? So did they welcome the idea on consuming insect?
Yeah, you would be very surprised actually how excited kids get about eating insects. We recently pushed more for sustainability, more for the systems approach. However, there is no avoidance of kids getting so excited, and they just think, when can we finally eat them? When can we finally try them? So this is a really cool thing. Of course, the younger the kids are, the less fear there is, the less fear of touching and interacting with them there is. As kids grow older, we do see a variety of reactions to insects, but overall I would say it's much more positive than you would think.
Then that's really impressive.
Yeah, that's very impressive, especially the younger generation. They are more open to this idea. So,
yes.
Yeah, we are the younger generation. So, so maybe I think that's pretty much. So
yes.
This is a very interesting and insightful sharing from Katharina on the insect farming, also the future food trend. So
yes, thank you so much.
So
thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.
I wish you a great event.
Yeah, you too, and I wish you have a very successful business. So, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for being our keynote speaker, and feel free to stay here to enjoy the rest of the opening ceremony. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Okay, so what's next, Kelly?
So before moving to the last session, let's talk about the upcoming event highlights. The exciting events that will be taking place in Day 2 of Interota, including Rotary Open Opportunities Forum to explore the future of Rotaract as well as our society. Cultural workshop where you can learn how to make a Hong Kong traditional flower flag. An Interota Academy where the world should be, to discuss different global issues and ways to make our world better.
So please check the rundown for the time of the events, and bear in mind that some events require pre-registrations.
We now have a performance by Mongolia, Macau, and Hong Kong Rotarians, Rotaractors, as well as the younger generation. Enjoy!
Together we build a world to live.
dream to believe in. Give yourself something to belong in. Join us now to make it better. Into a world of peace forever. Come join the world of Rotaract. Hand in hand across the land. Let me hear you say, come join the world of Rotaract. You and me, let's work for what the world should be. What the world should be.
There comes this time when we hear certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying, oh, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all.
We can go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere should make a change. We are all a part of God's great big family, and the truth, you know, love is really. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving.
There's a choice we're making, we're saving our own lives.
It's true, we make a better day, just you and me.
Well, send them your heart, so they know that someone cares, and their lives will be stronger and free, as God has shown us by turning stones to bread. And so we must lend a helping hand. We are the world, we are the children,
better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me.
今天我向夜里看雪飄過，還着冷卻了的心窩飄遠方。風雨裏吹過，霧裏分不清影蹤。天空海闊，你與我可會變？誰沒再變？原諒我這一生不羈放縱愛自由，也會怕有一天會跌倒。背棄了理想，誰人都可以，也會怕有一天是你共我。仍然自由自我，永遠高唱我歌，走遍千里。原諒我這一生不羈放縱愛自由，也會怕有一天會跌倒。背棄了理想，誰人都可以。也會怕有一天是你共我。似是歡笑，似是苦困，怎麼分開假與真？恩怨不分，愛亦有恨，明亮背影有黑暗。今天這相親，哪知他朝不相分，地老天荒轉眼的疑問。不必怕多變幻，風雨同路見真心，越脫一躍成塵。往事不記，往事不理，一生幾多苦與艱。珍惜今朝，盼望以後，同渡困苦與厄困。珍惜今朝，盼望以後，同渡困苦與厄困。誰也過了等某位去幫，願你有我保養和愛慕。
逢遇再破穿了再補，這亂世未必可修理好。絕望裏樂觀，亦是個情操，當壞世道。
何形狀，
對付百孔千瘡，誰能望穿我？這種現狀非現狀，
形勢壞透只好對抗，由我眼撐着，
是你心我。 寶頂都發光，結局再破爛同不安。銀河上邊跌宕邊看緊對方，
跨宇宙又還越洪荒，
不怕在盡頭無岸，遠近我都護航。
能安慰，不必天氣多晴朗。
與暴雪一起對抗，任歲月再壞，不致心慌。
There's a calm surrender to the rush of day, when the heat of a rolling wind can be turned away. 美丽纯洁的爱情，这夜晚多么美，让温馨充满每一处，到处散发着爱。Can you feel the love tonight? 愛我感じて世界を包むハーモニー、命の歌よ。這夜好溫馨美麗，隨時沉醉着迷，從前愉快，攜今宵美夢，願可相許百世。There's a time for everyone, if they only learn that the twisting kaleidoscope moves us all in turn. 왜 망설이게 될까, 알 수 없는 마음, 언제나 그를 사랑했지만 말을 못하겠어. Étrange lumière, la terre entière en parfaite harmonie vit sa plus belle histoire. And can you feel the love tonight? How it's laid to it's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe their very best.
Dare to build a world, a home. Vanish if now. Grow apple trees and honey bees. Then no my turtle dove. I like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I like to do it in my house. I like to build a world. I find goodness and love. And so white turtle doves. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. I like to hold it in my hands and keep it company.
It's okay, baby, only once, please. Inside these pages, you just hold me, and I'll never let you go. When I'm away, I'll remember how you kissed me.
Okay, remember what I told you. Be your own boss. Love yourself. Get up and dance. Level up.
Level up, 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 level up. 5, 4, 3, 3, 2, 1, watch me. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. No, you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. They freeze get dropped like weight. Team love don't want no hate. I'm grinding, I'm shining, up, I'm on my way. Thank God I never settle. This view is so much better. I'm chilling, I'm winning, like on another level. Oh, you can talk all you want. See me, I stay prayed up, nothing I'm afraid of, and I can have it all. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, watch me. Level up, 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 level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. No, you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy.
Something to belong in. Joy and smile to make it better. Into a world of peace forever. Come join the world of Rotaract. Hand in hand across the land. Let me hear you say, come join the world of Rotaract. You and me, let's perform what the world should be. What the world should be.
Wow, what a wonderful and energetic performance. So there are more than 60 Rotarians, Rotaractors, and young generation from Mongolia, Macau, and Hong Kong participating in this performance, and they took hours of practice. So I'm sure they level up themselves as well as level up the Interota.
And the whole performance lasted for 34 minutes and 50 seconds, which represent RI District 3450. And this performance video will be posted on Interota YouTube channel too. So now let's give them another round of applause.
So don't forget to check the rundown for the time of the events, and bear in mind that some events that pre-require to register. So yeah, just give you a quick idea. So in day 2, there will be Rotary Key Open Opportunities Forum, Cultural Workshop, and Interota Academy, What the World Should Be. So one more thing, why there are so many Rotaractors online here, but I haven't got the chance to meet each of them. What should I do?
So don't worry, I know Interota has prepared a virtual meetup platform called Get a Town for all Interota's registrants. There's an alternative platform for all participants to land on in parallel to Zoom and YouTube channel and YouTube Live. You can simply walk in and out of Rotaract rooms, fun game rooms, and culture rooms on the platform. It is designed for participants to interact through gaming together, video chatting, and free discussion.
Wow, this sounds really interesting. How can I access to that platform?
You can access to the platform via the link shown on the screen. It is also pasted below and in the chat box right now. So, see you later!